Hello, everyone. This is Cris from Texas School, and welcome to another Off the Record with some of our amazing instructors, Teri Whittaker and Brad Barton, who are co-teaching a class, Nature, Macro, Floral, and Animal Photography. And if their names look new to you, well, they are stepping in as a last-minute addition on this class. And so we wanted to have a conversation with them and just give a chance for you to get to know them more and hear about their class. So Brad and Teri, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, glad to have you. So your class title has a lot in it. Give us a little bit of a background so if the students don't know who you are or recognize your name, they can get to know you just a little better.
Background, I guess photography background. I've done a little bit of, portrait work, and I've done wedding work. I don't do that anymore because there came a point in time where it took 3 days to recover, and I decided that was time to stop weddings. But I still do a lot of business headshot portraits, and I like still life. I love being outside, so I don't just photograph flowers. I do trees and fences and spider webs and whatever else. But I just absolutely enjoy the opportunity to capture and to be outside, and we're going to get to do a lot of that this coming week.
Yeah, fantastic. Brad?
Yeah, and I've been doing this full time since, I don't know, 2007-ish, so almost 20 years. I had a very successful actor headshot business for a long time, but the nature photography and the bird photography in particular, in my case, has been there all along. You can go back and look at my competition cases as early as 2010 and find bird images that I've done and had loan images of in the early days from competition. So it's nature's always been something I've done. It's just not something I've been teaching before now. This is going to be 10 to 20 years worth of things I've learned doing doing nature photography.
Yeah. And you mentioned competition. I know both of y'all are avid competitors and have had success in competition. So people probably might have even seen your work and just not known it's yours because all that's hidden behind it's anonymous when it's an image competition. So
Right.
Is that something that students could look forward to as we kind of get into the class? Kind of tell us what maybe, I know you've got lots of different things in your class and it's going to be over 5 days, but what can some students expect that are going to be in your class or that looking at your class?
Yeah, I'll start off with the flowers. I started doing flowers because of a personal project. I was getting bored with photographing my knickknacks all the time. So I finally went to the store and started buying flowers, and it was cold. So it was something I could do indoors. And we're going to do some of that. We're going to talk about the thought process on, do I use 1? Do I use 12? And talk about color harmony, things that will translate really well into image competition. So we'll have the opportunity to photograph indoors, and we're going to go to the Arboretum, and we will have some opportunities to photograph outdoors, which is something I didn't do at first, but I have developed a love for photographing outdoors with those challenges as well. So we're going to have lots of fun with capture, and then also some fun with post-production afterward.
And she kind of hit it on the head there. We've also talked about we're going to have some additional creativity talking about how to apply it to nature photography and animals. What separates just a pretty picture of a pretty flower from a picture of a pretty flower with character to it, to elevate those images beyond just pretty pictures into the things that sell, not only in competition, but possibly in the fine art world as well.
Yeah. And so you're talking about going and photographing. So your students are bringing their cameras and they're working with these models, for so to say, at these locations and such. So it's not a sit, and it doesn't sound like it's a sit and watch Brad and Teri. It's a get out and do and practice. And
we want lots of opportunity for practice. I feel like nothing cements something better with someone to go for a week and have the opportunity to hear what it is that we're saying, but then be able to go and apply it immediately, and not just one time at the setup or whatever, but they can go back to it. We'll leave the setup available all week long in the classroom, and then they've got this great creative creation lab that perhaps they can make use of at night too if the classroom is closed. And I'm going to bring lots of extra vases, and there'll be flowers there that they can just kind of grab and take down to the creation lab and play if they'd like to. So I am looking forward to having all that opportunity for them to hear what we're saying and then go do something with it.
That's fantastic.
And then we've got field trips that are planned with the Dallas Arboretum for some more floral and some scenic type work. And then here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, we have the luxury of having two world-class zoos. Probably we'll go to the Fort Worth Zoo, but we're open to the idea of going to the Dallas Zoo if the class really wants to go that way instead. And then on top of it, here in downtown Dallas, in the middle of downtown Dallas, you'd never expect it, but there is an amazing rookery. And right there at the end of April, what we're going to have is a bunch of great white egrets that are all going to be nesting. And you will see everything from egrets tending their nest with eggs in them all the way up through some juveniles that have just been born in the last couple of weeks. And the structure that's right next to this rookery is a parking garage that we can go up onto.
Oh,
So we
nice.
basically have a bird's eye view of the rookery. So we're eye level with these birds that are nesting in the tops of the trees. It's an
Yeah.
amazing location and an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like for anyone that just doesn't want to sit, in a classroom and get out and actually practice. And that's what Texas schools, so great at, is giving people the opportunity to do it and to practice it and work it. So I know your students are excited about that as well. So we've kind of already started leading into this, but can maybe expand kind of your title might give it away, but there's not many classes at Texas school that kind of do this. So you're already unique in that aspect, but what are some of the other things that you think makes your class unique? I love that you have two instructors. You're going out some, you're inside some. You mentioned post-production perhaps. And so
Absolutely, with the idea of perhaps creating something for image competition or for selling, or even if it's just for them personally. I find flower photography very therapeutic, actually.
mhm,
From the moment of deciding going and purchasing the flowers, and we talk about that, where to get them, and what to think about when you're buying them, and what equipment that we use. And I actually am pretty limited in, so it's not, I don't have an overwhelming list for them to go home and purchase. I have few select items that I use, and I'll share what those items are. They'll get a chance to use them in the class, and then in the post-production, what to think of when they're doing their post-production. And so they won't be listening to us talk the whole time. They will be listening to us talk a bit, and then we're there for questions, but they will have a whole lot of opportunity to practice.
yes,
And have us hands-on for the practice. And that's one of the benefits of having us both there is
mhm,
that there'll be two instructors. There's a lot more opportunity for one-on-one time with this class.
yeah, that's great. That sounds fantastic. I know people really like that hands-on and that attention that y'all can both give.
So
Yeah,
we're not just teachers, we're also students here.
that's
Yeah.
great.
No, I know what I wanted as a student, and I want our students to just go home just feeling wonderful about the week, that they're sad when they have to go home. And that's the way I feel when I leave a good class. And that's what I want for the people that join us this week, that I
Yeah.
hope that they just absorb a ton, but don't feel like their brain exploded, but they can go home and just really be comfortable that that was a week that they enjoyed spending.
I want
Yeah.
them to go home feeling inspired and ready to do all this on their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all create that culture. The culture at Texas school is unique, and it's something that makes Texas school really fabulous. And it's cliche to say it's like a family, but I can tell that y'all are already wanting that. You're wanting to pass that on and keep that as a part of Texas school. So let's play matchmaker for a little bit. If you're doing a lot of different things. I know someone that's interested in this type of work might be a candidate for your class, but there's probably some people out there that maybe haven't looked at your class that are actually good candidates. So if you were going to play matchmaker, who do you think an ideal student would be?
I think somebody who does hard hitting, they're at the weddings all the time and they're in the portrait work all the time, and they just would like a break and something that puts their creativity in a different direction. I think that's an ideal candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone like us who loves nature and flowers, and they're good candidates as well. But I had someone who does teams and sports all the time attend one of my workshops, and I'm like, why are you here? And that person said, because I wanted to do something totally different from what I do in my everyday work. And so whether you love doing this all the time or you never do it all the time, I think both of those people are good candidates.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic opportunity to slow down and make more intentional images than you will at the hectic pace of a wedding or even the hectic pace of a portrait studio. So the student that wants to still do photography but find a way to slow down and do something more intentional and maybe even do something that's just for them. is the kind of candidate we're looking for students, those that want to open up their minds. Nature photography in particular, when you're out in the field, you've got to be able to take all that knowledge you learn in the portrait studio about light and light direction and apply it when you can't change the light itself yourself on your own. You have to be able to modify the light that's already existing in the world around you and look for those lighting opportunities. So it's a great challenge as well in that particular bent for a portrait artist in particular to get out and photograph in the world where they can't necessarily control the light.
Mm-hmm. And Terry, you mentioned early on that you kind of got into doing the tabletop flowers and stuff as a personal project. And listening to both of you talk, it sounds like a candidate, someone that has wanted to do one of those personal projects. And like you said, slow down and create some work just for themselves, maybe for art for their home. Maybe they do want to try to monetize it, but still stay involved in the craft and do something that's not demanding from a client. That can be a really freeing and actually, I think, inspiring and motivating and actually invigorating for those people to go home and hit their business a little bit with a little more energy because they've had that reset.
Absolutely. Yeah. We will actually talk about projects and creativity a number of times throughout the class and how we benefited from our projects and
ways to come up with ideas for personal projects.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know both of y'all are proponents of that and continue to do personal projects throughout
all
your
the time.
career. Yes. So
half of my
we want to keep
personal projects. So
yeah, they're good things to have, right?
Yeah.
So as we want to kind of keep these things nice and succinct and just short. So now this can be the next question. You can answer this practically, pragmatic, or philosophical, or a combination of both. But after Texas school, all the excitement's gone. We've had fun at the parties, we've made our new friends, and then we're back and real life sets in, whatever that is. Whether it's the job or the pressures of a client or the family and all the things. But the people that took your class, their life is different, and they can do some stuff that they couldn't do before Texas school. What do you think those things would be? What would that student? How has their life changed the week after Texas school? After spending a week with Terry and Brad.
Well, for the flower part, I'm going to just share how I do try to set up my little space so that it's very easy to just go in and be creative. And it's not going to take a lot of effort to go get your gear. It's just right there. And you can just flip on that switch if you're using a light or have a table by the window and have the tools just right there and make it so easy to create that they'll already kind of have that concept there for them.
Yeah.
And partly to spin a little bit more what she's saying right there is we're both minimalists. We don't require a lot of gear for what we do. Most of our students probably already have the gear that they need to do this stuff. So now they'll have the knowledge of where to go and what to look for to use the stuff they already have. Yeah. So they'll be able to go out the very next week without having to spend a whole lot more money to go out and do the things that we did in class all week.
Yeah.
That's not to say there's not plenty of opportunity to get more equipment.
Yes.
There's always equipment.
But we'll have a few things to share that maybe they might want to go make a purchase, but it's not necessary to do what we do.
Yeah. Well, I like it. It sounds like y'all are trying to remove any type of just mental or physical boundaries that would limit your students from continuing to do what they've learned in class. And I know that's really freeing because I've been to some things and you come back and like, I really want to do that, but the steps to even get started sometimes can limit you. And so it's nice that you're wanting to do that where you remove that from these students. So
yes, absolutely. They should be able to go home and do everything that we share with them. There shouldn't be a barrier. Not that they can't, like I said, enhance it, but by some of the things we share, but basically they can just do it. There won't be anything they couldn't go home and do on their own.
Yeah. So I know students love having actionable steps that are easy to implement once they get done with the class, and it just makes the class and the experience that much more valuable when you can continue it and you've actually grown from it. So before we kind of close up, I'm going to give you a chance to just where people can obviously go to texasschool.org and read about your class. It's coming up April 26th through May 1. But if they want to learn more about Terry or Brad, can they find you on social media or your personal websites to learn more about you?
I'm at terrywhitakerfineart.com, and so there's, you can at least see some of the flowers.
Mhm.
And I think there's an about me, but my about me is not all that, you know. I am very much, I am quite comfortable to be in front of people, but I am also very happy to be a behind the scenes person. So I'm a minimalist in me as well.
And you can find a lot of my nature work at bradbartonartist.com and on Instagram and Facebook at Creative Mythologist.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today. And I know your students are in for a treat with your class, Nature, Macro, Floral, and Animal Photography. So we got the rookery, the zoo, the tabletop flowers, the arboretum. Bring your cameras, bring your open mind, and Brad and Terry are going to fill you with lots of great things and a wonderful time. So appreciate your time today, and we look forward to seeing you in April.
All right. I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Bye-bye.